Single envelopment. Single envelopment is a flanking maneuver where forces attack one side of the enemy's formation to encircle and isolate them. By focusing on a single flank, the attacking force can cut off the enemy's retreat and supply lines, forcing them into a vulnerable position. This tactic requires superior mobility and coordination to execute effectively. Historically, single envelopment has been used in battles like Cannae, where Hannibal's forces encircled and annihilated a larger Roman army. Pincer movement. The pincer movement, or double envelopment, involves attacking both flanks of the enemy simultaneously to surround and trap them. This tactic aims to cut off all escape routes and supply lines, leaving the enemy with no option but to surrender or face annihilation. The pincer movement requires precise timing and coordination between the two attacking forces. It has been used successfully in numerous battles, including the Battle of Stalingrad during World War II, where Soviet forces encircled and defeated the German Sixth Army. Oblique Order. The oblique order is a tactical formation where forces are concentrated on one flank to achieve local superiority, while the other flank is minimized or held back. This allows the stronger flank to overwhelm the enemy's weaker side, creating a breakthrough. The oblique order was famously used by Frederick the Great of Prussia during the 18th century. It requires disciplined troops and careful planning to ensure the weaker flank does not collapse before the stronger flank achieves its objective. Feigned Retreat. A feigned retreat is a deceptive tactic where forces pretend to flee the battlefield to lure the enemy into a vulnerable position. Once the enemy pursues, the retreating forces turn and counterattack, often with reinforcements lying in ambush. This tactic exploits the enemy's overconfidence and disorganizes their ranks. It was used effectively by Mongol warriors who were masters of deception and mobility to defeat larger and more heavily armored armies. Inverted wedge. The inverted wedge is a defensive formation shaped like a V with the point facing the enemy. This formation absorbs and repels enemy attacks by funneling them into a concentrated kill zone. The inverted wedge is particularly effective against frontal assaults, as it allows defenders to focus their firepower on the advancing enemy. This tactic has been used in both ancient and modern warfare to hold strategic positions against superior numbers. Crossing the T. Crossing the T is a naval tactic where a fleet positions itself perpendicular to the enemy's line of advance, forming a T shape. This allows the crossing fleet to bring all its broadside guns to bear while limiting the enemy's ability to return fire. Crossing the T maximizes firepower and minimizes exposure, making it a decisive maneuver in naval battles. It was famously used by the British Royal Navy during the Battle of Trafalgar. Bounding Overwatch. Bounding Overwatch is a movement tactic used by infantry or armored units to advance under enemy fire. It involves two teams. One moves forward while the other provides covering fire. The teams alternate roles, ensuring continuous movement and protection. This tactic is essential in open or exposed terrain, where advancing without cover would be suicidal. Bounding Overwatch requires strong communication and coordination between units. Ambush. An ambush is a surprise attack from a concealed position, designed to inflict maximum damage before retreating. Ambushes are typically set up along enemy routes or in areas where the enemy is likely to be vulnerable. This tactic is a hallmark of guerrilla warfare, where smaller, less equipped forces use stealth and terrain to neutralize larger, more powerful opponents. Ambushes can be devastating to morale and logistics, making them a key tool in asymmetric conflicts.